Hi there, welcome back to Camera Than Coffee, where you and me discuss deserving cameras. So till now, I have compared the Panasonic GH6 with its predecessor Panasonic GH5 Mark II and the equally new hybrid camera Sony a7 IV. And today, let's break down the specs of Panasonic GH6 and one of the most loved cameras, Fujifilm xt4. It's a new channel, so if you find this video helpful, do consider subscribing. It helps me when you do that. Cool, let's begin. So the most awaited hybrid camera, Panasonic Lumix GH6, was finally unveiled on 22nd Feb, almost 2 years after the release of Fuji xt4, and it is priced at approximately $2,200, $500 more than the Sony a7 IV. Cool. So let's find out if it is worth spending extra $500 on GH6 or if xt4 is good enough. Let's start with the image quality specs. The new GH6 features 25.2 megapixel live MOS sensor versus the 26.1 megapixel APS-C X-Trans CMOS 4 sensor on xt4. Now, better the sensor, better is the resolution and dynamic range, which makes the camera deliver highly detailed images. And in this case, xt4 moves ahead because one, it is APS-C, and second, it has slightly more megapixels. Honestly speaking, in real life, there won't be a very big difference. But still, if I have to choose a camera for photography between these two, I would definitely go with xt4. And these are the formats in which both the cameras capture and deliver final images. Now here xt4 also delivers 8 or 16-bit TIFF images, which are mostly used for prints. So yeah, if prints are on your mind, you know what to buy. Moving on, both the cameras have their latest processors of their respective companies, which promise good fast processing speed and smooth interface. Not just that, together, the new sensor and the powerful processor allows good continuous shooting. In this case, comparatively, xt4 has a higher frequency continuous shooting through mechanical mode, but nothing can beat the 75 fps burst shooting on the new beast GH6. Speaking of ISO in case of stills, both the cameras offer good range. But one thing which puts GH6 ahead of xt4 is its wider extended ISO range, which goes down to 50 and 25-600 on the higher side. And in case of videos as well, GH6 has a better ISO range, which can go down to 50, but on the higher side, xt4 wins the battle. But in real, we as a creator don't really go that high. Still, if it matters to you, it is one of the important points. Next up is shutter speed. And as you can see, the old beast has more to offer. Now let's talk about autofocus. Both the cameras houses advanced and latest autofocus, which allows smooth and confident continuous focusing in all the recording modes. On one side we have contrast autofocus system, and on the other side we have Fuji's promising intelligent hybrid autofocus system with phase detection and contrast detection mechanism. If we talk about numbers, where GH6 has 314 AF points, xt4 on the other hand is blessed with 425 phase detection AF points and 425 densely positioned contrast detection AF points, which will definitely boost the AF performance. Here, points do matter and do make a difference, but still, I would suggest you to try your hands on both the cameras and get some real tests before buying one. Moving on, during nighttime photography or in low light situations when the light is not in our favor, the new GH6 will focus down to light level of -4 eV, and xt4 will give you better AF performance as it will focus down to light level of -7 eV. On top of this, eye face and head detection on both the cameras will be really good without any doubt, which will ensure that the shots are sharp and in focus. And yes, both the cameras have animal detection. And not to forget the focus limiter feature on the new GH6, which allows us to see the minimum and maximum focus distance limit. Great one. Now comes the body. Looking at the dimensions of both the cameras, GH6 seems to be both bigger and heavier than the xt4, which is I think because of the larger grip and built-in cooling fan. Good for creators, both the cameras have articulating touchscreen, which is really helpful when taking a high angle or low angle shot, and obviously when you are vlogging. And even in the case of electronic viewfinder, both have almost similar one with 3.68 million dots. And unfortunately, both the cameras don't have an inbuilt flash, which is fine because external flash is always a better option. One really good thing about GH6 is that it allows the high-speed CF Express Type B card to rest inside the camera and deliver faster writing speed and better buffer capabilities. Now let's have a look at the battery. Both the cameras have the same mAh internally chargeable battery, and also on papers, both the cameras' battery life is quite close to each other. In GH6 we get 380 shots and 900 shots with power save mode, and on xt4 we get 500 to 600 shots. But we do see a noticeable difference in battery life in case of video recording. On one side we have 45 and 50 minutes, and on the other we have 85 and 95 minutes, which is a huge difference. But frankly speaking, in real life it varies a lot and totally depends on the way we use it. Now the weather sealing. Both the cameras are not really weather sealed. Although the camera features dust and water resistant construction, this cannot completely prevent dust or water droplets from entering the camera. So yeah, you will have to take your own precautions. And talking about lens mount, we have micro four thirds mount on GH6 and X mount on xt4. Now before we look at the video specs, let's have a quick look on the ports present on both the cameras. And here things are quite similar, but there are two differences which will matter to some. One, there is Type A full-size HDMI on GH6 and Type D micro HDMI on xt4. And the other one which I really want to mention here is that the xt4 doesn't have a headphone jack, but we do get a headphone adapter which is included in the box. Cool. Now let's have a look at the video specs where GH6 has an edge over the xt4. GH6 offers anamorphic 5.8K videos up to 30p and 5.7K up to 60p. It also wins in case of 4K, as it offers Cinema 4K and UHD 4K up to 120p without any recording limit, whereas the xt4 offers DCI and UHD 4K up to 60p with a recording limit of up to 20 to 30 minutes depending on the frame rate. And also in case of Full HD recording, GH6 wins as it offers Full HD up to 300p. Can you believe that? Whereas xt4 is also not that behind as it offers 240p, but we do have a recording limit of 3 minutes on that. And just like internal recording, both the cameras are great with the external recording. And yes, both the cameras do have their best log profiles. Thanks to its great processing power, GH6 allows us to internally record ProRes 422HQ and ProRes 422 codec videos in 5.7K up to 30p, and in near future, it will also be available in other resolutions through a firmware update. Great job! And yes, both the cameras offer live streaming options. And last but not the least, in-body image stabilization. The dual IS2 image stabilizer on GH6 combines the control of body IS and lens OIS to offer 7.5 stops worth of correction, which is 6.5 stops on xt4. However, both are great cameras, and no matter which one you choose, you won't be disappointed. This is it guys, thank you so much for stopping by, and if the video was helpful, do support me by subscribing. See you in the next video.